All right, man. It is up to you whenever you want to start. I'm so chill right now.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start off. My name is Isaiah Hodge, and this is
Matt Hobbs.
And we are going to pick a topic and decide what we're going to talk about. So, Matt, want to go ahead and give us the topic that you're going to start us off with today?
Yeah, man. Do you want to talk for a minute and just have a little bit of a back and forth?
Sure, we can absolutely do that.
Cool, man. How you been? How's it been going on? What's been going on in your life?
Honestly, things have been going really well. You know, I'm off and out of school right now. And all my clients canceled for this week, so...
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I'm not making any money, but at the same time, I had a lot saved up, so I should be good for a week.
Sick.
But, so, yeah, it's not a problem.
And that is a call to anybody who wants to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
Making active sponsors.
Yep.
Sponsor us. We will shill out for you, I promise.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's just what's been going on with me. Nothing too much. Just taking it one step at a time, man. Matt, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing pretty much the same as you are. Unfortunately, I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm working 40 hours this week, which I'm usually part-time. That's what I'm used to. But I mean, money's good. Can't complain. Christmas is coming up. Super excited to be able to have that with my family, with you guys, and yeah, super excited. We've got our audio boy Karis here, our producer. Snaps for producers. Yeah, and it's me and Isaiah, and we're going to be talking about whatever we want to talk about. And Isaiah, you want to hit us with yours first or with my first? Oh, we should probably mention. So the way this podcast works is I've come up with a topic. Isaiah's come up with a topic. We're going to debate over whose topic we want to talk about. If you guys felt like we should have talked about the other topic, let us know through the various forums, I guess, Twitter maybe, whatever we're going to make. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. TBD. So if you feel like we should have talked about something else, let us know. But we are going to debate fiercely over whose topic we're going to pick. So... Isaiah, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first, Matt?
All right, man. So my topic is something that we both love. I'm pandering to the audience with this one a little bit. Mm-hmm. This kind of has to do with a podcast that we had released previously or are about to release. We'll see. But my topic is superhero movies.
Okay.
Pretty broad, pretty solid, something that everybody loves. I think it's going to be pretty solid. Something that I would love to talk about at all times. What is yours, sir?
Mine was going to be video game music.
Oh, God. This is the rock and the hard place. Man. Oh, gosh.
What are you thinking, man?
I don't know. That's really tough. Because I love talking about both of those things. Oh, man. Because, like, man, I was getting ready to start talking about yours. So, give me your reasons as to why your topic is better.
I feel like I don't know if you can exactly say that this is better, but I guess one reason for why I would really like to talk about this is because I feel like video game music just is so transcendent. I mean, video game music has been a part of video games since they've been created. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like, you know, even the music of Tetris, and then the music of Kingdom Hearts, and then the music of Dark Souls, the music of Bloodborne, the music of Mario, Sonic, all of those are just so, like, I feel like so many people can relate to it. And I just feel like it's a topic that everybody would really like to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that's where it gets tough because my topic is also something that everyone would love to talk about. I wouldn't say my topic is necessarily better. It's just also equally interesting, which makes this so freaking difficult.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, everybody loves superhero movies. We just saw recently one of the biggest and best superhero movies I've ever seen, Spider-Man: No Way Home. would love to talk about that, which has also been mentioned in a previous podcast. But yeah, I mean, this is something that everybody has either come across or at least has seen one of them. Most of people, at least. And some people, like myself, are huge fans of. So, I mean, that's what I think. What is your consensus on which one we should pick? And then we'll see if we agree.
Honestly, although I think video game music would be, I could talk about that forever. I think for this week, I'd love to talk about just superhero movies. Well, no, what do you think?
I was thinking yours.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. All right. So I think we're going to go with the tiebreaker. Do you want to ask our producer boy?
Yes, let's go ahead and ask Karis.
Let's go ahead and ask Karis. Karis, you are the tiebreaker. I need you to pick. Handing over Karis to the mic.
Video game music.
Video game music it is. Producer has ruled. All right, guys. So video game music. Holy mother. I mean,
where do you start?
Ocarina of Time, Mario Odyssey, Wind Waker, freaking Dark Souls, Kingdom Hearts. I mean, the list goes like, there's so many beautiful scores. I could go on for days.
Matt, why don't you go ahead and just tell us one of like your most memorable video game music experiences?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is probably, so my favorite game, which we've talked about endless times, is Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild has one of the best scores, period, in video games. I know that's a very, very bold statement because there are plenty of video games who have amazing scores. But I just feel like Breath of the Wild, the if I hear that sound, I feel like I'm adventuring.
Yeah.
You know, and like the build of the heroic music, if you're fighting Ganon or if you're facing off against an enemy, the feeling of peril, if you're in front of a guardian, it's so synonymous with those sounds. And I think that's the most important thing about video game tracks is that if I see something that's in that video game, I think about the songs going on in my head.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the way it should be. So I mean that's my top. I like and I mean I'm biased because again, that's my favorite video game.
Yeah.
If I had to name another one, probably Ocarina of Time. I'm a big Zelda guy. I'd say I mean the so foreboding of, like you said, like Bloodborne. So like super foreboding and like terrifying. You feel anxious.
Yeah.
Just the ability of feeling in those tracks is so amazing. But what if you had to pick a top? What would be your top?
Oh man, that's so hard. So hard. My top two. One, just like I feel like why I love this one so much, just mainly because of nostalgic purposes, and the other just because of how incredibly stylistic it was. The first would be Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
simple and clean as the way, bro. Like it's just so iconic.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's oh my gosh.
I might butcher her name, but I think it's Hikaru Utada. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But I mean, her voice is just so incredible. And I mean, I remember the very first Kingdom Hearts game I got was Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I got it on like my 7th birthday. So I mean, mind you, that's like 14 years ago. Yeah, so I mean, and we're still talking about that song today. Like, I mean, just because it's just so good. One other awesome thing about it is how they include music from various Disney movies.
Yeah.
Like I think recently in Kingdom Hearts 3, I feel like, did Elsa sing in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I feel like
I kind of remember
she did.
That's what I thought.
I mean, it's licensed by Disney. That would make sense.
Well, just, I mean, it's just further saying how like the music alone really drives that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, the battle scenes, one of my all-time favorite video game battle scenes of all time is when Sora is fighting Roxas. Oh my gosh. In Kingdom Hearts 2?
Oh my
Kingdom Hearts 2, my guy?
Oh my gosh.
What's the name of that song? I think it's called like The Other Promise.
That sounds right.
It's so good. It's like this, like very emotional, like piano. And I'm sure if you heard it, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, it's so beautiful. And I feel like music just really, like, encapsulates the emotion that a video game director, what their aim is, like what they're trying to do with that moment in that game. And I just think that it just does an incredible job at like really just like showing that emotion. So hats off to everybody at Square Enix doing their thing over there.
Way to blow it out of the water. Like you were saying, Kingdom Hearts is one of the things, like, if not Breath of the Wild, probably Kingdom Hearts. If I hear Kingdom Hearts tracks, I know it's Kingdom Hearts. There's no mixing it up. I was just told by our producer that this song is called The Other Promise.
Yes.
So I want to give props to that artist. Like, whoever you are, if you're listening to this, wow. Well done. It's so synonymous with that emotion of that fight.
Yeah.
It encapsulates, like you were saying, so well, just the gravity of what's happening. And it's just beautiful. It's just straight up gorgeous. Like, there's no other word for it.
Yes. And so like I feel like like the fight scenes are also something that people strike a lot of just like positive emotions, but also like the intro scenes or like the title screen scenes. I feel like sometimes like you see that every day that you load up the game, and so I feel like you're constantly being reminded of what's this theme. I think that the intro theme or the title screen theme of Kingdom Hearts specifically, I think is dearly beloved. Like you play that every time that you turn the game on, so like you're constantly being reminded, hey, this is the music for that game, and I feel like it just strikes that memory, and like you'll just remember it forever. And I mean, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts like 15 years, and so it's just one of my top favorite games. So I just really hats off to Square Enix and them for making an iconic soundtrack.
Absolutely. Like, my thing is, like you were saying with like the intro screen. Yeah. As you were talking about that, I heard the Kingdom Hearts 3 theme. Yeah. Of the beginning of the game, the dun 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 of like as you're picking like from the beginning of like start new game, whatever. Like I can hear it. Absolutely. Like that's how driven into my brain this music is. And that's the way it should be. Yeah. Because if it's forgettable, then who cares, If you have music that will push the plot forward and elevate your game to something beyond, which is what Kingdom Hearts is all about, then, I mean, you've done it, Now, Matt, besides Kingdom Hearts and besides Breath of the Wild, what else would you say? If you think about, like, absolute iconic, Mario. Oh, yes. You hear a theme song when you think about Mario. You hear that, like, maybe not necessarily a theme song. I hear the N64. I hear the N64 thing. That's what I grew up with, was Mario 64. I hear, like, the, like... I can't. I don't know. Like the dun. Yes, absolutely. I was like, I don't know how to do it, but yeah, that's and I hear the "It's a me, Mario," and it shows that big face. I know exactly where it's at. I know where I am. I know the Bowser's theme, and then he laughs. Yeah, and music starts up. It's so burned in my mind. It's that music is synonymous with that level. Yeah. Do you have something to add, Karis? Talk to me.
Okay, well, it's sort of about the Mario thing, but I just had a good point. So, the music, like, of video games, right? The purpose of it is to add to the video game, right? Yeah, absolutely. Build the world, right? So, what's a good video game where this music builds the world, and what's a good video game where this music actually takes away a lot from the game? Yeah. I know a takeaway game if it's kind of it's the one from Xbox. Oh, I'm forgetting. It's like this Viking woman. She has like these mental issues and she fights ghosts. Oh, Hellblade. Yes, exactly. So the whole game is great. It's a solid game, and right at the end they play this beat that is not fit in with the world, and it takes you out. And the whole game felt wasted to me because of this one beat they put at the end. But yeah, so that's just I'm so glad that you brought that up, because
although the music of a game can add very often, or I don't know, I feel like it can be, I think it's more on the rare side, but there are some games where the music takes away.
Absolutely.
Matt, do you have any games in mind that you think their music takes away, even just a little bit?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I know that there are games that I have played where I've been like Karis was saying, that the tone of the game is one way and the music is completely different.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like something like medieval or something like old age, or like maybe like an Assassin's Creed, and they'll start playing like a rap song. And I'm like, this doesn't fit. This doesn't work. Why am I listening to this? Like, I know that like a lot of like sports games and everything will play like rap songs and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sure, that makes sense. And then you have like stuff like RPGs or anything is usually like either melodic or it's like not necessarily like vocal. It's a lot of like symphony or something. And then you have like these games that are so off kilter that they start playing like dubstep or something.
Yeah.
Like Beat Saber type crap. And I'm like, I have no idea where you're going with this. Do you know any games off the top of your head that happened with?
I'm thinking. I feel like that I can think of that's most common is like not exactly that the music was bad, but that it wasn't good enough.
I get you. Okay.
Like, I think that I can probably think of a lot more things. Mirror's Edge. I don't know if you guys ever played that.
Absolutely.
Like, by no means was it a bad game.
No.
Incredible game. Super cool. Parkour, jumping from building to building. But, like, the music was like beep, pop, beep, boop. Beep, boop, pop,
Gosh.
And like that was like the music, and then occasional like wingo 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 wingo, and like that was like the music, and like it was cool, and I think like maybe like they wanted you just to hear like the footsteps and like the gun and actions, which is like great,
Yeah. But
like I think that like I mean you guys ever heard Cyberpunk's like soundtracks like like that's really cool.
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
And I feel like they kind of like missed it.
No, you brought up Cyberpunk. I think that's a great example where the music outweighs the video game tenfold, right? The music is amazing in that game. I can listen to that soundtrack. You're not going to catch me playing an hour of Cyberpunk.
No, okay. I feel the exact same way about, and this is a hot take.
Yeah.
You guys might not agree with me.
Uh-huh.
Unravel.
I've never played Ravel.
Unravel is such a good game.
Unravel.
The thing about it, I'm not going to play Unravel because I'm not going to play Unravel like crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good story and it's very beautiful. It's not super engaging gameplay.
Okay.
But the score is it's one of the best game scores I've ever heard.
Really?
It's beautiful. It's like Scottish and themic and like
okay.
Is themic a word? I'm going to say themic is a word.
Thematic?
Thematic, that's the one. It's so beautiful. It elevates everything. And the thing is, I feel like because Unravel is just kind of a basic game.
Yeah.
And that's a really hot take. I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for that because I know Karis has a very different opinion. Because Karis loves Unravel. The game, I mean, it's very simplistic gameplay. You traverse through an environment. There's cool mechanics and everything, but I think overall it's pretty basic. But the music just takes everything to 11. I mean,
interesting.
It elevates a game that I think would be worse off if it didn't have that music.
Yeah.
Curious, what's your hot take about Unravel?
And curious,
yeah.
For me, could you tell me like a little bit about Unravel? Because I don't really know anything about
Unravel. So it's this game about this ball of yarn that this grandma sews up, or I think it was a young woman, I don't remember, but she sews up this ball of yarn into a doll.
Yeah.
And that doll is able to move around through these little worlds, and you can swing. It's cute mechanics. I really like the mechanics. It's very doll physics, like when you fall down, sort of. It's that gravity. So that's what I like about it. But the story, these worlds are through these memories of this grandma. And so you see these memories and you get to play through them as this doll is running around. In the background, you see these giant characters doing these life stories. And you're like, you get captivated in each story. There's this one on the boat level.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, tell me about the boat level.
Well, it's heartbreaking. I can't. It's not. I don't even remember what the story was. I just remember feeling broken afterwards. But no, it was again with the game. I think Breath of the Wild. You brought up Breath of the Wild. I think that game is perfect example of just music adding to the game.
Yeah.
So the music doesn't take any away. The music doesn't really give too much. The music's just there. As this thing, it adds tidbits, right, throughout the thing, because the world itself is broken, so the music is broken, right? The world is this empty place that Ganon already took over, so the music's not there. When you get to Ganon's castle, it climbs, and you get the full score.
Yep.
But no, can we talk about Halo score, though?
All right.
But, like...
A new player has entered the match. What can be said that hasn't been said?
Wow. I've never played Halo.
Are you serious?
I only had an Xbox 360 for like a month. And then I heard about the Red Ring of Death, and I didn't want to get it, so I sold it for PS3.
That's fair. I get it. Because I had an Xbox with the Red Ring of Death.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Man, I bought an Xbox, and I had gotten it, and never do this, anyone who's listening, this is an awful idea. I got it off of a kid from my bus, and I paid him like $100. And I was like 15. And so, probably not 15, probably like 14.
I'm impressed you had $14 at 100. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, $100. Dang, wait a minute. I'm surprised you.
only got $14 at 100.
I'm surprised that you had $100 when you're 14. That's pretty impressive, right there.
Well, dude, I was working. Well, okay, it must
You
have
working
been
at 14?
That's what I was about to say. It must have been 15 because I think I was working because I have no earthly idea where I would get $100 from.
No, more like who would hire like a fetus when you're like 14?
Well, no, okay, so that's why again, I think I was 15. I'm going to say that I'm 15 because I started working at Chick-fil-A when I was 15. So I'm going to guess that's what it was because I have no other idea where my income would come from.
Yeah.
But I bought it off of him and I brought it home and I was so excited. It came with like a Kinect. It came with controllers, a headset, everything. He gave me a couple games. I was like, what a deal. $100. Xbox 360 is pretty old, but I mean, what a snag, right?
Yeah.
I turn it on.
No.
I'm able to get it to work for about an hour. I'm gaming. I'm having the time of my life. I haven't had a console, mind you, since the PS2.
Sheesh.
Since I was, I think, like 12. And then it stopped working.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had a Wii. But like,
Yeah.
Wii's great. Smash Brothers Brawl is great. Like, had good games, but like, I don't know. It didn't fulfill my needs.
Yeah.
And I finally got the thing and I was like, awesome. And I turn it on, play with it for about half an hour, and then it starts to blip. And I'm like, what is happening? And then I see that red ring. And it's frozen. And I could have cried.
Dude.
And I asked the guy who sold it to me, I was like, did yours have the red ring of death when I sold it to you?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, no, man, no. And I was like, I need my $100 back.
Yeah.
And he didn't give it to me.
What?
I was cheated.
Dude.
And I was so sad. Because I just had a worthless Xbox 360 because I don't have the money to get it fixed.
Yeah.
I barely had $100 to buy it.
That's super wild. I mean, I don't know. I feel like in that situation, like you, like totally. I mean, I'm not even really sure what you like should have done. Like maybe because like you shouldn't have like bought like school property. I think I don't know.
Probably.
But,
I mean, there's better ways to buy an Xbox 360.
But like, I don't even know what you could have like done.
I mean, I really don't know. It's haunted me.
I mean, you could have like framed him or something. Like, been like I know something you did.
Blackmail him?
Oh yeah,
into giving me back $100.
I mean, it's an option.
It is an option. Is it a good option?
Probably
not. No, I have horrible luck with consoles.
Yeah.
I lost my Switch. I've told you that story.
Unfortunately.
I've lost my Switch. We're not going to go into it. It's painful still. I have a Switch now. Everything's okay though. I have stole an Xbox One twice. I have an Xbox again, so all is right in the world. I've had such tumultuous relationships with consoles. It's the worst. But yeah, so we were talking about Halo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Halo music.
Yes. I don't know what to say because you've never played Halo. But, I mean, we all know the... And you know that as someone who's never played Halo.
I've never played Halo.
That's insanity.
I've just seen like 12-year-olds in their bathrooms standing on toilets with their hands up like this, doing the and it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great.
I know the song, and I've never played the game. I've never looked it up. I just know it, and I think that shows how impactful it was to so many people and players. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I like that blows my mind that like think of any other game. I can't tell you the theme to Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
I really don't know.
I'm dumping a little bit on Assassin's Creed, but let's be honest, it's an okay franchise. I don't want to add right now. That's another hot take. Assassin's Creed is okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to give me flack for that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the soundtrack to that. I can tell you the soundtrack to Halo, though. And as someone who has played Halo sparingly, I'm not a huge Halo guy. I'm more of a Nintendo person.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I can sing you the song. That's crazy. And I mean, I don't know whether that's mainly to be attributed to social media or to the people that recorded it. But I mean, the fact that the sound design was good enough to be able to remember it enough to make it that iconic speaks to itself.
Yeah, I think that it just shows like the likability of it. For example, I played Final Fantasy 15, and that game took me about 50 hours exactly to beat, and I can't tell you what the title screen music was. I genuinely can't even tell you. I'm sure it was phenomenal, beautiful, but I just don't know. And I feel like the fact that the Halo theme was so memorable just really shows how they did an incredible job of sealing that.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Final Fantasy 15, is that the new remake that they did?
That is...
Like with Sephiroth, Cloud, all that?
That is Final Fantasy 7.
7?
Yes.
Oh, 15 is that new one.
Yeah. The new... Well, by new, it came out like 5 years ago.
Oh my god. Yes, the newest one in the series. Okay, no. For some reason I thought you were talking about... I was like, I definitely know the Sephiroth song. Sephiroth! Sephiroth.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. No. Let's not mix it up. Final Fantasy 7, much better score. Final Fantasy 15, although a great game, not necessarily a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. There was a lot of like memorable songs. But Final Fantasy 7, oh my gosh.
As someone who's never played it,
this
is another Halo thing. I can tell you Sephiroth's theme.
Yeah.
And that might be from Smash. And that might be from a couple of the other games. But I can tell you it.
And I think that like really shows when like, the music of a game that you've barely played or don't even, maybe even haven't played, but just don't know it.
Yeah.
It just shows how it's so timeless and effective.
And I mean, this is a deep cut, but there's a game called Chrono Trigger.
I've heard of that. I've heard of it. Never played it. Don't know anything about it.
It's by the art is by the same guy, and the game might be as well. I can't remember. Don't quote me on this. Also, don't quote us on anything that we ever say on this thing. Most of it's going to be wrong. So if you don't agree with our opinion, that's okay. It's probably incorrect. So my thing is that I played Chrono Trigger very sparingly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the best RPGs that I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's timeless. You can ask anybody. If anybody had, I think it's on the NES or SNES. It's one of the best RPGs. It's by the same guy who did the art. I know is by the same guy who did Dragon Ball.
Akira Toriyama.
Yes, Akira Toriyama did the art for Chrono Trigger, and he might have written the story as well. I'm not sure on that. I don't want to give him more props than he's than are true, but
like he also tied my shoes last week.
He was in my house 3 days ago. Not in a weird way. Sorry, Akira. So, anyways, Chrono Trigger is just the sound there's moments where you transfer into like different worlds or like into a different map or things when you're traveling through time, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful, and it pairs so beautifully with the atmosphere of the game. It just feels it feels so perfect. It's like, I mean, it's the difference between like Pokemon as of lately. I'm gonna add Pokemon. I'm adding a lot of video games here.
Yeah.
Pokemon. I played Pokemon Shield. I played Pokemon Sword. I can't tell you the soundtrack to Pokemon Sword. Because frankly, it's eh.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. It didn't elevate anything. It didn't change anything. It wasn't incredible. It's not extremely memorable. But I can tell you the opening sequence to Smash Brothers Brawl.
Yeah.
I can tell you the opening sequence to Smash Brothers Ultimate. I can tell the opening sequence of Halo, of Kingdom Hearts, of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Of all these games that are so perfect. And I think that just the job of these soundtracks is to elevate it. And if you're not elevating it, then why is it there?
Yeah. Do you ever feel like sometimes there's just music added and they just like didn't even freaking care?
Yes. Play any like low tier fighting game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, play the Power Rangers game on the Xbox. Play Kung Fu Panda on the Xbox. Like, non-silenced phones. It's all good. We play it fast and loose here. But yeah, I think that like, also, I want to say to the viewers or listeners or whoever you are, we've got a candle lit in this room and there's no lights. So the vibe of this is so sleepy and I'm so relaxed. I just want to say that right now. It's making me real sleepy. But no, I think that like, just there's so many games that like they just feel like they have to have music, so they stick something in there, and it's like, this doesn't fit, which is like 90% of the games that you feel like this is a tonal change that didn't work. That's probably the creative decision that was made, is like something needs to be there.
Yeah.
You know? So
now on the flip side, a game that feels like they just threw in random music and they didn't really care. Like, there's one game in particular that I feel like they put so much effort into every aspect of that game, and that would be Persona 5. You guys ever play that?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh. Like, the music in Persona 5 is the focal point. That is
really?
Like, it's incredible. So, it's an RPG, so like you get into, like, you'll be walking around a dungeon and then you encounter a quote-unquote monster or enemy or whatever, and then you fight them, right? When you go into the fight, it's a full-blown voiced song. So it's like, just like imagine like you get into a song and then you hear Hello by Adele. I mean, of course it's like something else, but it's like there's words in an actual game, and so like you're hearing these words while you're playing, but it's like a funky jazz type thing. It's very stylistic.
Oh my gosh.
I wish we could play music on here. I'm not sure if we could, but
It's gonna be copywritten, unfortunately.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like that music is just like incredible. But then you like go to a clinic and then like the music is like this amazing like jazz cover with like this like classical guitar going in there, and then there's like a weapon shop and it's like this like amazing like jazz, like it's just, they put so much effort into it in every aspect of it. Like no matter where you go, you're gonna be like I found myself stopping and like Googling what's the weapon shop thing again, and like adding it to my Spotify playlist because it was just that incredible.
I've heard of this.
It's so good.
I had a friend at the old church that I used to go to.
Yeah.
That told me about this, and he was like, "Have you heard Persona 5?" And I was like, "I've heard of the game. I haven't heard the score." And he was like, "The score goes way too hard.
It does.
Like,
it's
unnecessarily."
Actually, I tell you what. Did you see the Game Awards? Maybe in like
saw bits
2019.
Probably not. No.
Okay. Well, because they there was a person who sung it, and that was a singer, I believe, and they had performed it live. So I was just wondering if you had seen that.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, I've heard like, the fact that I have a friend telling me about
Yeah.
a video game score, like, that's insanity. Like I don't
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. You don't walk up to somebody like, you heard that Mega Man 5 song? Man, what a banger. Like that never happens.
Now I'll tell you what, I do know. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, do you know the Mega Man 5? I don't know. I don't even know. Is there a Mega Man 5? I'm not familiar with Mega Man. Probably there is. But no, like, and this goes into like a little bit of movie scores.
Yeah.
But that kind of reminds me of like Baby Driver. I mean, Baby Driver is synonymous with its music.
Uh-huh.
The movie doesn't work without its score. Have you seen Baby Driver before?
No.
Oh my gosh, man. It's so good. It's Edgar Wright. It's an Edgar Wright movie. Right. Okay. Karis is a huge Edgar Wright fan. I don't want to get that wrong. Yeah, Baby Driver, it flows. Everything is done to the music. Everything is synchronized. Well, not everything, but the things that should be. Yeah. And yet it still feels natural. Everything is just like the progression of the film is moved forward through music. It's beautiful. And it's not a musical or anything.
Yeah.
It's just well done sound design.
Yeah.
Which is what I think that a lot of, unfortunately, video games are lacking in, is just good sound design. You know, like you have these games that are like, oh, the kids, and 90% of it is this. Is like, it's not a creative decision. It's like what's hip and happening at the time. They're like, the kids love this music. Let's play that. And I'm like, I don't want to freaking hear that. Immerse me in your music. I would rather not go, man, I'm going to go, that song's a banger. I'm going to listen to that later. I'd rather go, man, this video game is awesome. So.
Oh, wow, man. So, I mean, Matt or Karis, do you guys have anything else to share?
Yeah. Well, so I have something interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, here, buzz. Okay, the buzz is gone. So a couple points I thought about, but selection of music.
Yeah.
The amount of music they put in a game, that matters, right? So like if you take Fortnite for example, right, there are thousands of tracks in that game. You know, here's a track you can buy, here's a track you can buy, there you go. And I don't know a single one of them. Yeah. But I know when Fortnite first came out that I know that one. Absolutely. That is always going to be in my head because it was the one song they had. So I think the selection matters, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Like if your selection is off, your game's off. If you more so, and I think that this is more what you were saying, Garrus, is like if you hone in on one score, and you really are like, this is our score. This is what we're doing. This is the game's score. This is what it is. And you don't pull back from that, and you're like, you're not shaky on it, and you have the conviction and the gumption to make that, you're gonna kill it. You know?
Do you feel like there's a game that has like just like a couple of like music pieces, like maybe one or two, and they just like play that all the time, and it works well?
I mean, Mario. Isn't Mario like that?
I mean,
so the thing is with like with the different levels, you have different songs, and I know there were a couple Mario, definitely the early ones, had like the same score all the time, but that might go back to that's the Mario score now.
That's true.
That's the score that is continued to be the score. It's never changed since the first Mario game. It's the da 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 da. Like you know that score. That's Mario's theme, and it's been in every Mario game. So that's more, I would say, just sticking to your guns and knowing what you got. As far as something that's been the same that you're like, okay, we can change that. I don't know about video games. I can think of a movie that does that.
What?
It's a really good movie and I love it.
Yeah.
But it does this. It's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Wait, what?
I love that movie. I love it a lot. But that Wonder Woman theme, man. Oh my gosh.
Is it hey,
every single time Wonder Woman sneezes, this track plays. And it drives me insane.
Yeah. Well, there's a good example of like a good version of that and a bad version. So Wonder Woman, terrible version of that.
Yep.
They played this song that everyone hates thousands of times in the movie. But what we just saw, Spider-Man, they have the dun, dun 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 or whatever that was, and they play it over and over again, and then but it's great.
Yeah.
It's a good theme to play over and over again.
It works, and that's the difference. Is like if it's gonna work, then great. But I feel like with Justice League, it's not. For me, it wasn't. It was like the first time I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." But then the movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League, is a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
In fact, it might
It's
be
like
longer.
3.5.
I think it's longer. It's a long movie.
If I'm correct, I think it's 3 hours and 43 minutes.
Is
If
it
I'm
really?
correct. I might be wrong. But I
Wow.
think,
If you nailed the runtime,
actually, it's either 3 hours and 43 minutes or 4 hours and 13 minutes.
Karis, you got to give me those specs. I got to know if this man's right.
Like, only because I kind of remember there being a 4. There's definitely like a 3 in there. I feel I might
No,
be
it's
right.
Zack
Like,
Snyder's Justice League. It's a
like
different movie.
43 or 13. I feel like I might be wrong. Well, at least that's what like HBO Max had said. I think
That's probably right.
Only because I only checked once. I was like, "How long is this movie?" And I did it, and it was very long. And I was like, "Okay, I'm not watching that."
4 hours and 2 minutes.
4 hours and 2 minutes.
You were
Okay.
close. You were close.
Ridiculous.
It's insanity. And the thing is, it would be different if they like. I mean, you have somewhat of a Batman theme. You obviously have the classic Superman theme for Man of Steel, that plays for each character. Each character kind of has a theme, right? It's just the Wonder Woman theme. It's different if you like have a really heroic moment where you're like, I got to put this person on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But the Wonder Woman theme, anytime she did anything, and I'm like, please, it's been 3 hours. Pick a different song. Like I remember the time when I was like, oh my gosh, come on.
Yeah.
Was the first time I was watching it, and it's you've been on this. You're in the middle of this huge battle. Spoilers for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, move on. When they're fighting Steppenwolf and the portal opens for Darkseid, there's this big team up like attack thing that they do, and everybody's doing their own thing, and it's the Justice League theme, and it's rising. It's a really heroic moment, and then Wonder Woman raises her sword to chop his head off, and it doesn't fit. And I was sitting there and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! Are you kidding? This is ridiculous!" Like, it drives me insane. And there's few movies that do that where they just are like, this is the theme. People are gonna be this is gonna be like the new Let It Go. Like this is gonna be it, and they're like, it absolutely is not.
I have seen some. I can think of some anime that have a theme, and they play it different ways.
Yeah.
And like I think that's kind of cool. Like I feel like they do different versions of there's a song on Naruto called Sadness and Sorrow. I think they do a bunch of different versions of it. Like one is played with like a piano, one's a short version, one's a long version. I think one of the versions is like 7 minutes, one's like 2 minutes. There's one that has like a it's like Japanese like sitar in it. So I mean, like I think that it's cool how they have like different ones, and they play it pretty often. You know, somebody dies, sadness and sorrow.
Yep.
The ramen's too cold, sadness and sorrow. You know, Sakura does what she normally does and rejects Naruto, sadness and sorrow. So I mean, I think that it's really good how they use that so much. Like I feel like it's become such an iconic song. Actually, I was just listening to like a TikTok, and there was a guy, he was doing like a inspirational voiceover, and was over sadness and sorrow. And I feel like the average person who didn't watch Naruto wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
But like I was able to be like, that was the song from Naruto called Sadness and Sorrow. And so I think that like any kind of thing, like a video game, a anime, a TV show, a movie, they could like if they hone in on one thing and perfect that, then and it's good, then I mean you can use it. But in the case of like the Wonder Woman, like I mean, like I'm sure that there's got to be somebody else who also feels like, you know, maybe we shouldn't use that every single time she's going to do something epic.
There's got to be, because there's no way that anybody signed off on that. But no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I mean, there are especially with movies. I mean, there are scores out there like the Batman theme, the da 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 da. That has lasted for what, like 30 years, 40 years?
Oh man,
Like,
wasn't
I
Michael
mean,
Keaton? He
yeah.
was. It's probably almost 50, right?
Yeah, right. And like that was in that Batman the Animated Series. That was in Michael Keaton's.
Yeah.
That was in the New Justice League. That was I think it was a bit of Batman versus Superman. I might be wrong about that one, but I can tell you that it was in Justice League. That movie came out in like the original one, the original cut came out I think in like 2015, something like that. Mm-hmm. That's insanity. That's like 20 to 30 years worth of one score being the score. You know, same deal with Star Wars. I mean. We all know, nothing needs to be said about John Williams.
Yeah.
He's and most things that he does is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
The guy's pretty good at what he does. He is able to elevate the movies and elevate everything with what he does as far as scores. And is able to make them so iconic that they last for years and years and years, decades at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Star Wars theme hasn't changed since the first one.
Nope.
What are we at? Number 9? That's crazy. And that just shows the talent of these people is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Matt, did you have anything else that you may like to share or anything?
I don't think so. Karis, you got anything?
Like anything about music?
Anything at all? I think we're gonna wrap up in just a minute.
About to wrap up in a minute. I was trying to think. There was I was gonna say if you had to choose between the art of a video game or the music of a video game. Let's say you had a limited budget, crappy art, great music. Great music. Oh no, yeah. Or great art, crappy music. What would you choose if you were to make a game?
I have an answer.
All right.
Isaiah, do you have an answer?
I have an answer.
I feel like your answer might be the same as mine. You want to say it on 3?
It's a 50-50 shot.
Exactly. You want to say it on 3?
All right.
All right. Art or music?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Music. For a second, it almost sounded like you said all right.
I was stuttering. So.
I'm music.
I'm music. No, absolute music.
Okay.
Yep. Tell me why is that your pick?
I have played so many games that graphically are not that great, but they have music that is amazing. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of an example.
I know a great one. I know a great example.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you thinking? Sonic.
Yes.
So those old games, I'm not a Sonic fan.
No.
Those games suck.
The
Sonic
old ones?
Sonic games suck. What do you
old
do?
ones?
Run right and jump
The old
fast? Yeah, the old ones.
You lost your mind. Okay, continue.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I gotta say the Sonic games suck. The music is amazing.
Yeah.
The music goes so hard. Everyone knows the Sonic beat.
Yeah.
Right? When you hear the beat, you're like, oh, that's from a Sonic game. Every time. But the
Yes.
game, I hate.
Have you guys? Oh my gosh! Did you all hear? I mean, there's so many incredible Sonic songs. Like let's think. Well, this is Sonic anime. It was like, gotta go fast, gotta go fast,
You had to go faster. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know,
Going at the speed of sound. Sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and, dude. I mean, now one of my favorite new ones is they have one of the enemies in one of the newer Sonics. I think it's Sonic Forces. His name is Infinite. I don't know if you guys have heard Infinite's theme.
Yes.
Oh my god,
It's really good.
it's so good.
It's amazing.
It's like a rap screamo, like heavy metal thing, and it's sick. And I'm like I feel like he's like, and you gotta be infinite, and it's like just really awesome.
It's really sick.
And I mean, Sonic music, great. But like I feel like if you had to pick between like the art or the music, I feel like it's graphically like okay, but like the music is where it really shines.
Absolutely. Like my thing is that you have these games that, like Karis was saying, are so freaking old, yet the music is still there. Like I remember, I think this was the first thing that came to mind. I think it was the guy who wrote Contra. The music for Contra. Do you know what Contra is?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Karis, you know what Contra is? Okay. It's a older video game. I think it was on. I know it's on the Sega. Mm-hmm. It's a very difficult game. Very, very synonymous with difficulty in games.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrote it, it was supposed to be like this, like shredding on a guitar, like really metal kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't do it because obviously the technology that he was given, he wasn't able to do that. But somehow, even despite that, he was able to make this soundtrack that was just really like evoked that like you're playing Contra, man. Like this is metal as frick. Like you're tough. You're gritty. Set the tone really well for the game. And somebody rewrote the Contra music as like a full like metal kind of band thing.
Yeah.
And they showed it to I saw like an interview or something where they showed it to the guy who wrote the Contra music, and he was like, oh, like you could tell that he was like, this is exactly what I had in my head.
Yeah.
When I was writing this, I just couldn't do it. And so that's the thing I think endures with music over any kind of scenery or anything, which is why like, I don't know, with the new gen consoles, it's really cool to see these new like amazing effects and these amazing like visuals, and everything 4K is beautiful, and ray tracing, everything is awesome. But give me a good score and give me a good gameplay. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like.
One thing about it's not exactly with video games, but one way where I would appreciate the music over the art is in Disney movies.
Absolutely.
Like, there have been a lot of recent Disney movies that artistically have been like pretty good, but if there was music, it would have been better.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, have you guys seen Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yes.
Karis, have you seen it? It's a really good movie, beautiful art, beautiful visuals, but there's no music. I'm sorry, there's no like singing.
Yeah.
And I think that the presence of the singing really heightens that. Like, I feel like a lot of Disney movies artistically are very similar. Let's say like a very recent one, Soul. I don't think there was. I mean, there was music, but it was like piano music. And I feel like the fact that there was singing and things like Encanto, that's one of my favorite new ones. I mean, it was just very captivating. And I feel like in that way, I would pick the music over the art in those kinds of movies.
I feel the exact same way. I think that Encanto, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like, so my favorite Disney movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yes.
One of the best Disney movies I've ever seen. Have you seen Hunchback of Notre Dame, Karis? Karis has never seen it. Karis, you have to watch it. It's one of the best Disney movies. If not, it's my favorite and what I consider to be the best. The soundtrack, I mean, talk about fitting it to a world. Like, it invokes, like, the movie starts with, like, Catholic like monk like singing like the na na na, and like it's beautiful, and then you hear a bell toll in the back, and then the score picks up, and I get chills talking about it. It's so synonymous with the world and works so perfectly with just everything that's going on, and with the rising action. It's a musical, and most of it is told like the backdrop, the foreground, like the backstory of like what's going on is told in the beginning of the film through music. And it's just beautiful. Hellfire, like the Out There, which is the song that Quasimodo sings, is one of the best tracks, if not the best track in my opinion, in Disney history. Just beautiful. Karis, you had something to add?
Well, no, I just wanted to. You mentioned Soul. And I just want to know the opinions of Soul, like how we thought.
Great.
Here, my thing on Soul is that the beginning of it, and like the jazz, and how he was like, "Oh, I want to be this and that." That world, the animation, the art, the writing, everything about that world, I loved. I loved how it looked. I thought it looked so clean. I was like, "Yo, this is actually a beautiful movie." And then when he hopped in that ghost town, I was like, this is awful. I was like, this is the worst animation I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
And it looked like their budget was cut for all those scenes.
I agree.
What happened there? What happened?
So, my thing is, I thought Soul was amazing. Hot take. Hot take, because I just silenced my other two co-hosts. I thought it was really good. And here's why. So, that was so ASMR, and here's why. We're way over time, but it's fine. No, really? Wow. Okay. Here's why.
Can't forget time, right?
Yeah, cut that. And 3, 2, 1. And here's why. So, my thing is like, when they went into that world, yes, absolutely, it was a digression. But think about if you're a kid. You don't want. How do you not scare a kid by the inevitability of death? I thought that was done beautifully. I mean, the fact that nothing needed to be said that he. I mean, they eventually said that he was dead, but we don't need to know what happened. We don't know what happens in Soul after you die. We know that you go towards a thing, and then a thing goes. Zzz. That zzz is terrifying, but not scary enough for a kid. It's the perfect middle ground, and then mixing that with the jovialness of where babies are born and where babies are coming from. That tone was perfect. How do you present the life and death and cycle of life to a child like that?
I think one thing that I also didn't like about Soul was how like they're like, this is how you get your personality, and it's like literally not true.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
like I am a psychology major, and I know that, or at least what is the most generally accepted term or the most generally accepted way that people develop in any way is a combination of nature and nurture. And I felt like Soul was trying to like express like things that like weren't like true.
Sure, and I think that at a point, this has just become me defending Soul.
No.
And so, which, I mean, that's great. I love Soul.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
defend it. My thing is that, like, sure, it's not true, but neither is that babies are delivered by storks. That's the thing that we were taught as kids.
That's true.
Go ahead,
I mean, but like when you're talking about what you're feeling, these emotions, and that these kids are watching, like, oh, this is how I get my personality.
Yeah.
You're starting to dive into something that's not okay for these kids to think, oh, that's how I got this personality. You know, like I feel like that could be a dangerous spot.
It's similar to,
and also
like,
the world is so weak. The design of that heaven world is the weakest thing I've ever seen.
Hold on. Okay. I have thoughts as well on that. I'm going to go to the first thing you said, though. This has just been me debating Soul, which is awesome. We started with what? Video games?
Yeah.
I did have an idea about video game music. I have one point I want to make. I forget it.
We'll go back to that in a minute. Garrus has another point. I don't know if you could hear that off mic. Garrus has another point that he would like to make about video games. We'll get back to it, I promise. We just have to talk about Soul. So, my thing with the beginning thing is, like, sure, it might have been like, less validating to a child, but to a child, I mean, how much validation do you need from where your personality came from? Where's if you're at the point where you're questioning where your personality came from, you already know. Does that make sense? You kind of are like, okay, I develop this personality because I'm me. And if you have a child, sure, if they're struggling with like an identity crisis, if there are children who are struggling with, and I don't want to downplay this at all. I mean, if they're struggling with something that's like, they're not knowing who they are and they're having identity issues, maybe don't show them this film. Maybe that won't help them. But to the young child who doesn't know where their personality comes from, it's just kind of a fun thing. I don't foresee it being problematic. But the second thing about the design, I thought the design was simplistic and cute. I thought it was good. Isaiah, do you have any thoughts before Karis rips me apart?
There was actually a documentary that talked about like the exact, because from literally one like second 58 to second 59 they planned it out, and I remember they were saying, because like there's nothing that, because you have to animate it, like you're like creating that. Yeah. So they were saying like from 1 second to 1 second they knew what was happening, and like that the like bzz sound that you hear when the person dies, like they wanted it to be like knowing that death was like not what you wanted to like get to, like you didn't want to die, but like that like it was mysterious and like unknown, and it was just very, they like picked out so many things, and so I feel like there were a lot of like stylistic choices that they did, but like I don't know, I also kind of agree with Karis.
So that's exactly my point, is like I said, how do you convey to a child that death is all of these things? It's mysterious, It's the unknown. It's somewhat scary. It's not something to look forward to, but it's not something to be afraid of. Yeah. How do you convey that with a sound? It's that simple.
That's true.
It's crazy. That is such good design. But go ahead.
Well, like, I don't remember the sound, but what you guys are saying, like, yeah, it sounds really good. But what I remember from Soul is when I watched it, I was disappointed because I don't remember much about the movie, but I remember being disappointed because I thought it was going to go somewhere that it didn't. Yeah. And that is the most heartbreaking thing for me for any movie. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. I don't care. But if it's a movie that I'm like, oh, here we go, we have potential, and then it flattens out, that's what breaks my heart. So Moana is a great example of that. I thought Moana could have been great. Okay. I thought Moana really could have been great, and I thought it really flatlined at the end. I agree with you. I'm going to be honest. I didn't see any progression. Okay, I can go into Moana. But I want to hear Isaiah's point of view of Moana first.
Okay, let me talk about... Can I finish what I was going to say about Soul?
Yes.
Okay, let me say this one more thing. I'm sorry, I really like Soul. So, the last thing that I will say is that I thought the payoff was beautiful. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Of Soul?
Of Soul.
Okay.
I remember there's being somewhere I'm like...
I remember the last thing that I remember in Soul is that he's grappling with, okay, do I go back? Do I like, what do I do? How do I solve these problems? Have I lived my life enough? Has, like, my life didn't mean anything is the whole thing, is the whole point of the movie, is like, I feel like I wasn't worth anything. And in the end, he starts playing this tune, and he fixed the thing that I didn't like about Coco, which is that... I know, we hate Coco. Me and Karis hate...
I don't like Coco. Man.
You don't like Coco either?
No.
Okay, good.
I mean, same thing with Soul. It was like, I don't know. I know that's like... It was just like dead people. It was very terrifying to me.
Okay, what broke my heart with Coco?
Let's see.
What broke my heart with Coco was, again, this missed opportunity. Yeah. Guitar is a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
Guitar can be like, it can be one of the most soothing sounds you've ever heard. And when Coco picks up the guitar to play at this concert, I'm like, here we go. We're going to see his skills. He starts singing, and the guitar is like, what, strumming a little bit in the background? He's like, "In Pinocchio," or whatever he says, bro. But but still, the guitar is so weak. And I thought it was going to be a guitar movie.
Yeah.
Right? And I was so I like Ratatouille. Ratatouille is a great example, whereas that's a cooking movie. Yeah. Well, can we talk about Ratatouille? That's a beautiful movie. Oh my gosh, one of the best movies. But you get these the way they cook it. Yeah. But with the guitar, it's just, I feel like they had something they didn't take advantage of.
I feel the exact same way. Because when he's playing, my biggest thing was when he was playing for Mama Coco. When he was playing that guitar for his grandma, and he's trying to remind her. Imagine for a moment, I'm getting chills talking about this. We've talked about this in length. Imagine, if you will, that he doesn't sing. Yeah. In that moment, he just plays guitar, and he just plays.
So many missed opportunities.
So imagine that you're just playing the guitar, and that the guitar is so beautiful and so memorable that Mama Coco just remembers. And you can see the light come out in her eyes, and you do the show don't tell thing that every freaking Pixar movie needs to do, where you don't tell us what's going on, we see it. Yeah. Because you just see Mama Coco light up. Yeah. And he's playing this beautiful thing, and that's just perfect. Yeah. And that's what Soul did so well. Yeah. That's what Soul did, because it was able to, in that moment where he's like, did my life mean anything? He starts to strum out that piano, and he starts feeling it a little bit. And you see in his mind's eye what he's thinking about, and it's show don't tell. No words are said. It's just piano. Yeah. And you see him just playing out those chords, and you see his life. You see the beautiful moments in his life, his dad, his love for music, his family. I'm getting chills talking about it.
You know about Inside Out?
Hold on, I'll get there in a minute. Karis, you brought up Inside Out. I don't like Inside Out.
Whoa.
Okay. Hot take.
Like Inside Out?
Hot take. I'll get to that in a minute. This has just become about Disney movies.
We're an hour in.
We might have to continue this in a continued Disney episode, which we could absolutely do, and we probably will.
We totally should.
I need to
We
talk
should.
about Moana. I need to
Okay.
talk about Moana.
Let me finish my soul thing.
But you've been talking about so
Yeah,
much.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is my thing. So, yeah, he strums out the chords and nothing is said. All you hear is that music, and all you see is those visuals, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's my end thought. Soul is a good movie. I will defend that.
Okay, well, Isaiah, what do you think about Moana?
Just didn't. I'm wondering what you thought was like bad. I thought it was okay.
Yeah. What I thought was weak was the characters at the beginning were the same characters at the end.
Yeah.
My issue was that Moana. No, that was my issue with Maui. Moana had this ocean behind her, right? Yeah. So she wasn't in control. The ocean was in control.
Yeah.
Then there is this scene where the ocean leaves her, and she dives down in the water to grab the rock herself. And I'm like, oh my god, here we go. Oh, Moana's doing this by herself. She doesn't have the ocean by her side. She's gonna sail herself.
Yeah.
The ocean helps her at the end. I was like, I thought we were just gonna have Moana by herself. You know, this powerful female character. I was like, oh, this is amazing. But then the water helped out at the end. I was disappointed. And then Maui, he learned how to accept himself without his magic, without his staff. And I was like, oh my god, here we go. And then he gets his staff at the end. And where's everything gets they get their little devices back. And I was like,
I can see what you're saying.
yeah.
And because you know what, like, I feel like there's a couple of points. To be honest, when you bring that up, I actually would agree with you that like they definitely like missed those opportunities because they're now having to like rely on these like otherworldly things, and I feel like there could have been a lesson that was taught that like, you know, girls are strong and men don't need all these things to make them.
Yeah.
That's what Frozen did really well.
Frozen was a good movie. Frozen was really
good. And wait, sorry.
You were saying men don't need these things.
Let's see. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're good.
No,
I think you're absolutely right that like Moana, I think it had the potential. It had a lot of potential. I really thought Moana was really weak. I saw it, I think 3 times opening weekend because everybody was super excited for Moana. I remember the hype was crazy.
That's the one where the music was weak, but the art was beautiful.
Yeah, the art.
Ocean. That opening scene with the baby in the ocean.
Yeah.
Was beautiful.
Facts, and I think that
music with that scene alone was a better movie than Moana.
I think you're right, and I think that the art was really, really beautiful. Like, I mean, the effects of everything, the water was beautiful. I mean, and then shiny. I don't care. I don't care about the music. I don't care about that you're Moana. I don't care. I don't care who you. I know who you are. I've seen this movie. I've been watching it for the past hour and a half. I don't need to hear I am Moana. Like, that's lazy writing. I'm sorry, writers of Moana. I just felt like if they had like steered into the theme of like, don't let these things that are holding you back hold you back anymore. Free yourself.
Well, they tackled it. They got it. They had it for like a lot of the movie. Where right at the end they got rid of those things and they were fighting for themselves and they were doing it themselves using their own strength without these crutches. I was like, let's go.
So like
what happened? Are we out of space?
No, we're good.
What happened?
Nothing. It just picked up the audio in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should wrap up anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, we should. Okay. Man, bop.
No, you gotta say goodbye and all that.
I know. No. I'm getting you. I'm getting you to edit.
Well, I remember I had a point about video game music I forgot about.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. The last thing is like, if you say, okay, what's video game music to like a kid?
Yeah.
Right. Is there this idea of video game music, or is it just music? Right. So we have this idea. We're older, 20-something, of video game music, kind of 8-bit, almost a little pixelized, and people further back, of course, they do. We have that kind of idea, like with Mario, But would a kid know that, or would a kid be like, what music? You're talking about music, like Last of Us. That's just music. Yeah. Breath of the Wild is just music. Yeah.
Because you're right. Because like
Mario was video game music. Yeah.
But like, cause like, so are you saying that like things like old Pokemon, like the 8-bit kind of like
yeah.
Cause
like if you heard that, you're like, oh, video game music, because that 8-bit sound.
Yeah.
It was literally that 8-bit sound was a wall that they couldn't cross. Like they actually had to make that music 8-bit.
Yeah.
I forgot for why, but they actually had to make it 8-bit.
It was mainly because of just the technology of the time that like the everything that we're doing with video games was so primal that like all of this was uncharted territory. So they didn't know how to like synthesize music while something else was like pew, pew, like making like sound effects. I think I could be wrong about that.
I mean, that would sound totally like I would totally understand like that was the case, because I mean, as technology has grown, we have seen so many advances. What's something that's recent? Like facial capture. A lot of games are now just facial capturing things and not actually creating it, or like they are creating it themselves, but they're relying on like the facial expressions to get like the mouth shapes and the way that they their mouths and their lips and their tongue move in order to make it seem as immersive and realistic as possible.
Yeah, like mocap has gotten crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, even outside of that, like just like CGI in general. But yeah, man. So, guys, anything else to add as far as Disney movies, movie scores, literally anything?
Oh, I don't think I got anything, man.
That honestly would be another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's fair. So we're gonna cut it off here, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I know that got off the rails, but that's what you're gonna enjoy probably for every podcast after this. We don't really stick to anything. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys agreed with us. If you didn't agree with us, let us know. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on these things. Isaiah, Karis, thank you for podding with me. Love to have you guys and just be able to talk with you guys. Super great pleasure. But yeah, guys, hope to see you guys next week. Subscribe and like anywhere that you listen to these podcasts. And yeah, can't wait for the next one. Isaiah, I'll see you next week.
See you next week, man. All right, thank you, Karis.